Call the cops on me. On a mission to be champs since they let me free. Prepare for combat, my adversaries crumble. Face it, I got a reputation for damage. Busters get ready to rumble. They lock me in a cell, have me trapped in a living hell. Though not guilty, I'm still in jail. Brother, I serve my time like a soldier. Maintain composure. My shadow boxing the fight to the death, busting boulders. Every boxer with a pair of gloves. Best give up love. Here's a man from the makings of a thug. A lethal weapon, mind sharp. And in my heart, there's a wish to shake the world with the flurry of my black fist. Now once a high school dropout, now I'm the $1 million champ. Who's the next to get knocked out? Straight out of Brooklyn.
What's going on, everybody? Another episode of CSBS Show. Angelo here. My boy JP. JP, what's up, man?
Man, we about to do something.
As the mic went off for a second. Yeah, we are. We're going to do some outrageous shit. It is that time. The end of the year is here. It is time for the awards. We're going to record this in two shows. I could combine it for one giant show. But
why?
But why? Let's stretch it out, man. Let's stretch it out. First things first, as we do, follow the show on Twitter, Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate and review. It's the end of the year. How about your New Year's resolution, listeners? I'm going to start rate and reviewing when he asks. God damn it. That's all I ask for. I don't ask for much, man.
It's a Christmas present. I'm sorry. Do rate and review for Christmas.
That's it. Christmas present. Yeah, there you go. I know we're adjusting things, so you're going to hear shit. We're outside, so you're going to be hearing stuff too. In that way, email the show, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, anything like that. We would appreciate it. Welcome to all the listeners for the last time this year. Or the second to last time this year. Well, let's see. No, this will go out
close.
Christmas. This will be the last time this year. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Damn it, rain.
All the listeners. Windows Phone, Podomatic. They every now and then I'll still throw it up. iTunes, Stitcher. I saw one the other day that we got put up on that I didn't even know about. Podbay. Had never heard of it, and we're up on there. Because every now and then, I like to I'll search let me search the show, see where these things are popping up at, because there's one called boxingpodcast.com. We're on that. I don't know how we got on there. Places that are TuneIn Radio, we're on there. YouTube, we're on there. We're everywhere, goddammit. We're trying to just get it out everywhere.
Diversify our boxing portfolio.
That's it. People hammering? Do that? Motherfucker, you don't know we're doing a show here? See what happens when you do it outside?
Christmas lights, baby.
So, as you know, end of the year means end of the year awards. And our show is no different. Cheap Seats Boxing Award Show. We got our black ties on and everything. You guys just can't see it. Maybe if we did the YouTube show, a YouTube live show. There's something. Next year, I'm gonna do a couple. I'm gonna do a couple live. I want to do a Twitter live, live shows.
That's just epic.
Actually, what do they call it? A simulcast, like they used to do back in the day, where it was TV and radio. While we're recording, simulcast it on Twitter, so it's live on Twitter, and then we'll have the upload
that shit's
on
gonna
iTunes.
Be fun.
Yeah, it'd be different, right?
Is that the drinking show?
Well, recently, most of the shows have been me drinking. You guys just haven't seen it. It is what it is. Yeah, I'll drink. I'm gonna drink on that one.
We about to have fun.
That's what we do. And again, you know what? Since it is the last show of the year, I do want to thank everybody, all the listeners who've been so supportive, coming in every week, downloading the show, retweeting it, passing the word around. Truly, truly appreciate everybody who puts their work into helping us.
And I gotta give Angelo a special shout out himself, because this motherfucker puts in a lot of work behind the scenes. I'll be like, what the hell you just did? Like, damn, wait a minute.
I make it look like more work than I'm actually doing. Because a little inside thing, me and JP will record. He'll be driving home. A lot of times when he's coming over to my house to do it. By the time he pulls in the parking, park his car in the garage, the show's up. And he's like, God damn, you got that shit up quick. I make it look better than it is, man. All right, man. As you know, we'd like to do things a little different. Everybody's got their basic categories. Fighter of the year, yes. we'll have that fight of the year, of course, knockout of the year, round of the year. We'll have that. That'll be in the next show.
Dun,
But
dun.
this show, we're going to have what we like to have more of the fun categories that we do, and we'll have a couple of them. I think there's one or two more next show. But this year we're going to do a couple of ours that we like to do. The one we came up with a few years ago was the fighter who came out of nowhere. This could be all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
It could be a fighter who nobody was talking about, who put himself on the scene. It could be a huge upset. It could be all kinds of different things, man. You got any fighters and why? We'll get into why we put them on
the
there.
number one fighter that comes to mind very easily is the fighter on the card Saturday. Because when Joe Smith Jr. won, I was like, who the fuck is that? And now he's on the card fighting Bernard Hopkins, and some people are like, who the fuck is that? Because with the upset, it got him where he is right now. And nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw the knockout coming that got him there. Like, matter of fact, you can go a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years ago, and you would never come up with the name.
Joe Smith Jr.
So he's mine.
Look at you. You pulled back the curtain, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you pull? Did you see what you did there? You let them know that we're recording this right before that fight. But
it's true.
we will record part 2 after those fights. So if he was to actually upset Bernard Hopkins, you'd have to at least honorable mention his ass for fighter of the year, because you have a knockout win against Fonfar, and you was to put the end of the career of Bernard Hopkins. At least you got to be at least talked about as, you know what I mean, something.
I tried to talk about him early. It might not work out, but it might.
And I totally agree. I gave mine away right there. Joe Smith Jr. was number 2 for me. Absolutely. And if he does win, maybe I'll go back and record this. He's number 1. No, the fighter came out of nowhere. He would definitely be number 1 for me if he was to win on Saturday. Number 1 for me was Murat Gassiev. The reason he came out of nowhere, because 1, the knockout that he had early on in the beginning of the year is going to be one of them knockouts that people talk about for a while. I mean, if you've seen it, you're like, whoa, God, man, I think he died when he went through the rope, almost went through the ropes. But not only that, because he gets into the number 1 contender spot, and he's a cruiserweight. So, of course, cruiserweight's not a big glamour position. And I think that has a lot to do with not coming out of nowhere, because if you ain't the top tier of cruiserweight, people really don't know who you are. And then to translate that into the title shot against Lebedev, and to score the upset win against him, which I did score it for Gassiev, that to me he came out of nowhere and then took it to a whole different level where he actually has a true legit title belt. Like,
Yeah.
Joe Smith does have a title. It's one of them offshoot weird WBC, not really belts. So for me, Murat Gassiev, Joe Smith Jr. could be number 1 if I will amend this. Watch, you'll hear the. We joined our regularly scheduled program in progress. That's it. Yeah. So Joe Smith Jr. and Murat Gassiev, we 2 different ones.
See, Gassiev fulfilled it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave Smith on the back because he did. You know, whew.
Patrick in SoCal, he emailed the show and he had Joe Smith Jr. on there. I'm pretty sure that's what. Now that I'm trying to remember it, he had that on there. We appreciate you joining. He said he's one of the newer listeners, like a couple months.
Well, thank you.
And we appreciate that. Anytime new listener, and if you're a new listener, hit me up on email, man, because I will shout you out just for being a new listener. If you rate and review, man, we'll give you the show. This is your show. Unfortunately, Patrick, this is not your show because you didn't do that. unless.
But we got love for you, though.
We do got love for you because we did shout you out on it anyway. The second category, and this is the ones we came up from the very beginning of the show, is the fighter who lost the most without actually losing a fight all year. That also can be interpreted a couple different ways. Mm-hmm. Because if you didn't fight at all, you didn't lose. If you didn't fight at all, you didn't win. but I took a little bit of both. But generally, I like to keep it in with people who actually fought
Right.
and translate that somehow into something bigger and better. But I did cheat, and I did go the other way with it this year
That's
because
all
some
right.
people scored something huge without actually even stepping in the ring. JP, what you got, man?
Number 3, Manny Pacquiao. The reason being is because he has no competition. No matter who he beats, he's not going to get... He's just on a completely different level. And we're waiting on Floyd to come back. Oh, that don't look like it's happening. And think about it. When you mention Manny with any other fighter, it's like, I'm taking Manny.
Yeah.
Number 2, Canelo. All of this flip-flopping, weight, no weight, I'm a middleweight, I'm not a middleweight, I'm knocking out Khan, I'm ready for Golovkin, but I'm going to fight. It's like, dude, you're fighting, you're killing me right now. And number 1, of course, is Tyson Tony Montana Fury. You know, what to say? You know, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It is. Rick James was right
Yeah.
about that, was he not? I'll start at the top for mine since mine is exactly the same as yours. Vladimir Klitschko and Tyson Fury slashed together. Now, the reason that I put Vlad in with them was because he lost a lot in a different way. Vlad, and this is why I tied them together because of what all that happened with their fights getting postponed twice this year.
Right.
Tyson Fury is definitely number 1. I slashed it with Vlad because of what happened with Tyson Fury. He is going to go probably 18 months at the age of 40, 41 now without fighting. That's not a good recipe for success. I don't like his chances against Anthony Joshua just because of that fact. Because he had been sliding a little bit. His fight against Brian Jennings wasn't impressive. He definitely wasn't impressive. He looked like crap against Tyson Fury. And then now it's going to be, by the time he gets in the ring, it's going to be almost 18 months. And you're going in with a beast, a young beast at that. He lost a lot because, and he might be on this next year. Well, actually, he will have lost the fight as far as I'm concerned, but because he lost a lot off his career, not necessarily off his money-making potential, because he's going to make more money in this fight probably than he's ever made in his career. So in that case, he could be on the other side of the list, winning the most without actually winning a fight. Tyson Fury, I mean, obviously, people thought of him as a clown because of how he acted. But they enjoyed it because it's like, we need this in the heavyweight division. He gets the title. He's got the fight coming up with Klitschko, and drugs, cocaine, and some of me doesn't even kind of believe that he does all that. I mean, I know he did cocaine, but to the level like he tries to pretend like he did it, I don't believe it. It's just I don't know what to believe with him anymore. He's just such a clown, man. Oh God, did I give something else away?
It's coming. He's there.
But Tyson Fury definitely number 1 for me. Now let's start back underneath. Manny Pacquiao was number 3 for me, just like he was for you. Why? Because he has nothing else. He may have one. He had one of the 2 to 3 most impressive years in boxing, which isn't tough anymore. All you gotta do is win 2 fights. But yet he still lost a lot because he's not selling. He took a pay cut, a big pay cut from his minimum, and unless he gets the Floyd fight, he really is just playing out the string. It's kind of like the Cleveland Browns sitting there at 0-13. They're just playing out the string. They pretty much got the number 1 pick locked up. They're just playing it out at this point.
And the Cleveland Browns select LeBron James.
Manny Pacquiao number 3, and I got a little cluster in there. Chris Eubank Jr. for obvious reasons because he hasn't lost a fight this year. But shit, and he is just so pathetic that people just think of him now as a sideshow. It's like, oh, he's okay, but now he talks a better fight than he actually fights. Gary Russell Jr. is a guy who didn't fight. He didn't lose. He fought one fight this year, Patrick Hyland, right?
Mhm.
He wasn't ranked at all in the top 15. Somehow got moved up into 15. The guy's going to fight next month, Escondido, I think that's what it was. He's got some generic WBC interim type thing belt that doesn't really exist but exists. After he turned it around from the Lomachenko loss with the win over Johnny Gonzalez, you're like, hey, maybe this guy's finally turning the corner. He's getting it. No, more injuries. He's not fighting. He go back into his usual one fight a year thing. A guy who is still, they still think has a lot of potential, but he's like, and it's not even a joke because I kind of exaggerate a lot of time. He's like 32 years old now. Is he not? Is he not like that old?
Yeah.
He's like getting that old. It's crazy. Number 2, Billy Joe Saunders. Oh, there's a guy who hasn't lost a fight, but he's lost all kinds of respect. Any respect that he did have, because people thought him kind of as a joke anyway, but it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. And he's probably going to end up fighting Eubank Jr. again before he ever thinks about fighting in with a Canelo or a Danny Jacobs or a Golovkin.
He's gonna fight Twitter.
Yeah, he's undisputed middleweight champion on Twitter. Absolutely. So both of us agree Tyson Fury is number 1, and then my other guys for obvious reasons. The fighter who won the most without actually winning a fight this year. Who did not win a fight this year, but yet still moved up the rankings?
My top 2. Number 2 is James Kirkland. Because James Kirkland just signed a fight with Miguel Cotto in Brooklyn. And every time he fights in New York, those are goddamn sellouts. He's about to get paid for not doing shit last year. And, that's winning. Number 1.
And it may keep him out of jail again because he always gets behind on child support.
Oh, man. Well, that is a 2 for them.
See,
he's winning.
Really winning.
Number 1 is actually Vladimir Klitschko. Because he could say, look, man, the dude was so scared he got high. He got a title shot because he got another title shot after the layoff. Wrong goddamn opponent. But 18 months off and a title shot, that ain't bad.
No.
And to say there are other fighters who probably more deserving, even though his name is big.
Yeah.
So,
this is going to be an odd choice. Number 3 for me, Amir Khan. He got
knock the fuck out.
Iced. Yet, he's in talks with Kell Brook now, which will be a humongous fight.
Hell yeah.
Kell Brook would have also been on there, but he actually did win a fight this year. So Amir Khan on there. Timothy Bradley did not win a fight this year. Actually lost the only fight he fought this year against Manny Pacquiao. Got dominated, probably 10 rounds to 2. And what does he translate that into? Let's see. I got talks that I might fight Cotto, or now the WBC is now
mandatory.
Which one is it? One of them is talking Errol Spence. They're going to mandate Errol Spence versus Timothy Bradley.
They ain't gonna do that because they let fucking Brook off the hook for fighting Spence already.
That's what I'm saying. I think which title was it?
That's WBO.
Maybe.
It's WBO or IBF.
It might be the IBF. I can't remember where I read it, but he's now in talk. Now Timothy Bradley loses only to Manny Pacquiao, but he always translates that into, well, he should be fighting Terrence Crawford. He might fight Terrence Crawford. He might fight Errol Spence. He might fight Miguel Cotto. No matter how often he loses to Manny Pacquiao, he always lands on his feet. Why? Because he's only lost to Manny Pacquiao. And there's certain fighters, when you lose to them, that no harm, no foul.
And he's definitely
one of them. And number 1 for me was James Kirkland. I had him at number 1. You had him at 2 for obvious reasons. You don't fight all year, and you score a pay-per-view fight against one of the top 5 pay-per-view fighters going. I mean, it's not what it was, and he'll be lucky to sell 100,000 pay-per-views. I'm sure, but For James Kirkland, he landed on his feet after landing on his back against Canelo last year. James Kirkland, we were on the same page, and like you said, he may stay out of jail this time for Mr. Child
You
Support.
said that.
Well, yeah. Okay, well, I thought we were
He ain't
teaming.
coming looking for me.
Austin's 2 hours away. We're good. This one is a little bit tougher. Number 4, most avoided fighter. It's kind of obvious.
And it's not kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 for me was Errol Spence. Because all 3 fighters have the same MO. Everybody knows they exist, but people don't necessarily like bringing them up unless they're forced to. So number 3 is Errol Spence, because during the whole year, people's like, Errol Spence is coming, he's coming. Other fighters, he needs about another year, 2 decades, maybe another millennia, and he'll be ready. That lets me know you don't want none. Number 2, Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's always in the mix of, y'all gonna fight. Even when he sabotages by saying he's not going up or down, everybody says they want to do it, and then it's like, you sure? And everybody's like, let me move on to the next guy. Number 1 is fucking Triple G. Because him and Canelo were supposed to make the biggest fucking super fight. And Canelo said, I'm coming for you. I don't fight for belts. I get rid of this belt. I'm coming. Well, just give me a minute. I'm going back down, but I'm coming right back up. But not against you.
And I may go up even higher.
Then you.
I may go past 160 just so I don't have to fight you. So I left one, and I'm agreeing with you. And obviously, my number 1 is Triple G. You have the right now the biggest pay-per-view star in boxing right now. Active number 1 fighter in pay-per-view sales is Canelo. He had the biggest one this year, which I think
Ain't that big?
600,000 or something like that.
Well, okay.
Amir Khan.
Yeah.
And he should be fighting. He should be fighting Triple G, but instead you're right. I don't fight for belts. Hold on, let me go back to 154 to fight for this belt. So all the different excuses. They're finally going to make this fight with Danny Jacobs, which has seemed to take forever. But the reason he's number 1 is just because of Canelo. Because when you have somebody that big who's already fought a lot of dangerous fighters, I'll fight anybody, and I believe him. But he just ain't as anxious to fight Triple G. Ain't obvious reasons why.
Gennadi's name ain't anybody.
I also had Guillermo Rigondeaux. I guess we can just call this the Rigolovkin category from now on, because people are never going to fight them unless they truly have to. That's what it seems like. Unless I have to, unless you're a guy like Curtis Stevens. Because Curtis Stevens is like, I got beat the fuck up and I want to fight again. You got to respect that. I just wish everybody else
They don't have that heart.
had that same kind of mentality.
They don't.
Let's see. Comeback Fighter of the Year. Now there's a quiet bit of names that you can do with this. There's obvious ones. There's not so obvious ones. There's, of course, obvious reasons and not so obvious reasons. I actually came up with 5 names. I'll start this one off. Let's see. I got names like Manny Pacquiao. Why? Because, well, we have to remember that it was only last May, that
True.
he got beat and the shoulder thing, and people thought, well, I think he's done. I think that he might have seen the best of him. And what's he do? He comes and fights Timothy Bradley, and then WBO welterweight title, Jesse Vargas. How many rounds does he lose in those 2 fights in 24 rounds? He loses 2. How many knockdowns does he have in those fights? 4? 6? How many knockdowns he had? So, you had to admit, it's a pretty decent comeback.
Hell yeah.
No matter how much people want to hate on it, it's a pretty good comeback. It's like this. Floyd Mayweather's been off for now a year and a half. Well, a little bit over a year and 3 months. He comes back next May, and he fights. I don't know.
Conor McGregor.
No, he will not get the comeback fight of the year with that shit. But he fights like Danny Garcia, and I'm gonna try to get somebody like right in the middle there, like maybe even a Sean Porter. That pretty decent. Those two would kind of balance out Vargas Bradley, and he dominates them and wins 22 out of 24 rounds and has about 5 knockdowns. Everybody would be going insane about how amazing he looked. So you kind of have to do the same thing. Even I know when people hate on Manny. I got Andre Ward. A lot of questions. I don't think he won the fight, but it still was close. Close enough. I had him down. I had him losing by 3. But I think he answered a lot of questions, and the way that he came back after the knockdown and getting dominated so early, it showed. He wasn't done, because there was people questioning, like, I don't know, I see a lot of slippage in him. And I think he proved everybody wrong. How about this one? Let's go champ. Shannon Briggs has fought nobody. He has gotten his name on Twitter and on Instagram and on all the sites because he's chasing down David Haye. David Haye accepts a fight with him and then runs away from the fight to go fight Tony Bellew. And Shannon Briggs turns it into a WBA title shot. How can you go wrong with that, man? I mean, a lot of people didn't think he would ever get there.
But he's almost there.
He's almost there. He's definitely the one fighting. I mean, he was supposed to fight Brown, and Brown got popped again, and then so that he's off. And now we're gonna find who's the next person. I don't care if it's a guy like Luis Ortiz. I don't give a shit. The fact that he's made it all the way back to a title shot, I got nothing but respect for it. Number 2, Mikey Garcia. Now, not only did he return, not only did he look great in his return, he's going to be fighting Zlatikanen in his next fight. A fight that people was like, that might be a little bit too early. But to put himself on, and now people are going like, I don't know, I think Mikey's got him. Probably before the comeback and seeing how sharp he was, I don't think people would have saw it as much on that way. And Mikey's going to have a quick hit list of top names, I think. He's definitely huge comeback after 2 years off. It didn't look like he had very much ring rust. Well, would he have rust for like 2 rounds?
2.5.
Okay.
2.5. Maybe 3. But that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. He's literally back to where he was. I mean, he kind of looks like that.
He looking good.
Number 1 for me, Abner Mares. Most people counted him out. Most people said he was done after the Santa Cruz fight. Most people said he was done after the Johnny Gonzalez fight because his confidence was gone.
Yeah.
And even though we picked him to win that fight, and even though we both said he got a little bit of that swagger back, a little bit of his confidence back in the Santa Cruz fight, he fails the medical exam. The first time that he's supposed to fight, comes back, and then wins a fight that people didn't think he was going to win. And now he's like, he can make for some fun fights.
Can he?
And when you're thinking a guy's career is over, he got a piece, a soft piece of the WBA belt. Now he's the main champion, but I think it's a huge comeback because if there was one out of all the fighters that I put on here that I wrote on the list, the only 2 people on there that was really totally written off was probably Shannon Briggs and Abner Mares.
That's true. Because that's you got 2 of mine up there. I know that. Different order though. Well, I'm gonna make it shorter. Cause it was 3, but I was thinking about it like,
Number a little honorable mention.
Here's the thing. Like, my honorable mention would be a technicality, cause my number 3 would be Keith Thurman, because after the car accident, people was kind of looking at him suspect. He didn't come back as in fighting because he never lost, but people kind of gave him more respect after he beat Porter, because he was kind of he was in the same space as Danny Garcia. as
There were
people,
plenty of doubts, definitely.
yeah. So it's like
They even thought that there's still a lot of people who even doubt that the truth of the car accident.
right. So, but he showed up in that fight, and and had one of the best fights of the year. But my number 2 is Abner Mares for that fact, because at the end of the day, you're talking about a guy who basically ran through a gauntlet, got his confidence taken, and he was kind of shaky. He got a title shot, and he made the most of it. And now, just on confidence alone, he a dangerous motherfucker right now. Because let that eye pass, because he ain't get much damage to us this time. He's coming in the fight thinking to himself, like, I can beat anybody. Y'all lost before, but I can beat anybody. That Abner Mares is dangerous.
Yeah, confident Abner is a totally different fighter.
That's a dangerous dude, and I can't wait to see what happens.
And and to be fair, I don't think he was fully 100% confident going into that fight.
Right.
He had gotten a lot of it back, but I think it's all the way back now. And that plays a huge role. Psyche in sports is such a big thing. That's why they have sports psychologists.
On one part, I did forget on the honorable Rashi. Rashi won. He last year to this year, he winds up holding the belt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you did all right. You did all right. They propped you up, you fell, but then you got back up. So I'll forget about that. Number 1 is Andre Ward, because this was literally supposed to be a comeback year. This, you know, it was all or nothing. He comes back, he fights 3 fights, he winds up 3-0. You got to take the Sullivan Barrera fight, cool, you know. Was it Smith?
No, that was
last year.
Yeah,
but the dude he jabbed to death.
No, oh, that guy's terrible too.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's why the unrememberable guy.
The guy he'd been chasing for about a year and a half.
he got that fight out the way. Then he beats Kovalev. In my opinion, it was a draw, but it is a win in the books. So, if anything, he's met expectations, at least on paper. People want to see a rematch to get this completely clear, to get the bullshit out of the air. But as far as fighters go, he had the best year because of Barrera. You know, because the controversy is still with the Kovalev win, but Barrera and Kovalev in the same year, I can't look over that.
This is a fun one. The fighter who took the biggest leap to being a quote-unquote superstar. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a pay-per-view king one day. What it means is, in boxing, a fighter now that everybody's talking about, that everybody wants to see, that could be making the most money, but generally, like, he was a guy that maybe we knew maybe he was coming there, and he took a huge jump, or a guy that was kind of like, He kind of had the boxing public like, and then is now like,
let's
next time I gotta see his fight. Number 3 for me was Carl Frampton. Now, and the reason that I take him is because this is from a U.S. perspective. He's already a huge star in Ireland. The UK, he's huge. But you know, like, this is like New York City is the Mecca.
Yeah.
Right, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, right? Of the arenas. Well, the U.S. is kind of the Mecca for being a crossover star, a guy that not is known just in the boxing circles. This is why Carl Froch wanted to fight one last fight in Vegas. Why? Because that's a dream that they all have. Because until then, you're still quote unquote a domestic fighter. You know what I mean? There's a reason that Calzaghe wanted to come over here at the end.
As in that Kevin Hart show, you a local ass bitch.
But we knew what kind of fighter he was. If you get the quick fight, which was on Showtime, which was picked up on Showtime. He had the fight against Alejandro Gonzalez. Rest in peace for Alejandro Gonzalez.
Yes.
Terrible thing.
And Craig Sager, by the way. Yeah.
I'm wearing a gaudy jacket right now in his honor. But the quick fight on Showtime. It's put on Showtime. And then he gets the Santa Cruz fight, and now he's fighting in New York on one of the biggest stages, and puts in a performance that people question. Going up, could he do? People picked him, but there was a lot of doubts. And now he can sell tickets in the U.S. and he can sell tickets in the U.K. That makes you a star. That makes you a legit star.
True.
Guy that just fought, last week? Jamal Charlo. 2 weeks ago, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy who people who had heard of. But now, because of the emphatic win and the way that he behaved afterwards, that makes a difference. Now, he's not going to sell out arenas. He's not going to probably make millions of dollars in his next fight. But what he has right now is intrigue, and people are intrigued to see what he can do from here. When he says, I want Golovkin, right? Well, you see the way he knocked out Williams, and it wasn't a laughing matter anymore. Like, before, you're like, whatever, yeah, okay, you're going to fight Golovkin. But, like, that power is legit. And, yeah, Golovkin has an iron chin. But according to what we saw and how hard Williams punched, he can
put a dent in that shit.
He caught Charlo clean and never really did anything to him. So maybe he's got the chin to go with the power. And you're like, who's the next young guy who's going to move up to 160 to maybe he could actually pose some issues.
This is going to be interesting.
He's got intrigue. He made the now. I would put him way below those two on the far as superstar. But I'm talking about the biggest leap.
Yeah.
He made the biggest leap from to no. I gotta see him. Number one, Anthony Joshua. Why? Because we knew it was coming. We didn't know if it was going to be this year or next year. It's this year, and then starting next year, it's going to be even bigger.
Exactly.
Selling ungodly pay-per-views in the UK. Getting people wanting to watch his fight in the US. He's going to fight Vladimir Klitschko next year. They're going to make gobs of money, sell 80,000 tickets. That's called being a superstar. I don't care if he still hasn't fought outside of of England.
Who needs that? I mean, who needs the U.S.? He don't.
It's like when Klitschko didn't need the U.S. and all he needed was Germany.
It works. It works. My number 3 is Errol Spence. I was sitting at a bar earlier this year, watching his fight. I think it was in June. And that was like PBC is one of the highest rated shows at the time.
Is that that's not the...
I want to say the Algeria fight. I'm not sure though.
I'm saying you're not talking about the one after the Olympics.
It might have been, yeah.
That's the one that got $6 million.
It was. The people at the bar was like, wait a minute, I heard this guy before. Then they saw the way he was kicking ass. Everybody in the bar was like, look, I don't know who this kid is for sure, but he got an odd name. I know I'm going to see that shit again. And everybody wanted to see him again. And he's been building on that ever since. Well, even before that, everybody saw him. It's like, Errol Spence, he's nice. He's going to get his one chance against somebody that's a star. He's going to beat the brakes off of their ass. And that's going to be, that's it.
He wasn't on my list, but I like the pick too, and I was thinking about him because he's now got HBO talking about him. HBO don't like to cross the lines on anything anymore. And honestly, neither does Showtime. So
right.
Neither one of them it's like they are the Bloods and the Crips now. Like they don't like to intermingle too much.
What's up with your cable, cuz?
Yeah. No, but that's a great point. And you know what's sad about you saying that is we're here in Texas. He's from Texas, and rarely does anybody know who the name is. Yeah,
you got Houston covered. I got Dallas covered. Number 2, Vasyl Lomachenko. Even though his victories have a little bit of twinge to him, nobody can say when they watch him fight, they was like, this motherfucker is good.
Yep.
Like you want to see him again because you just know he's special, and the fact that he's special intrigues the hell out of the eyes. he could actually pass everybody's eye test who doesn't even know boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can do that, when the next time his name comes up, people, I don't know how to say that shit, but is that the dude that does the sliding and the hitting? That's the one. He's gonna be off and running. Number one is Anthony Joshua. He's a fucking heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's about to knock Klitschko into fucking prehistoric times. And then solidify, he's about to bring back the glory days of heavyweights.
He definitely could do it.
Because it used to be a welterweight world. They bullshitted that away. It could have been middleweight world.
Yeah.
Bullshitted that away. As far as light heavy with Ward and Kovalev, that's pretty much it. Nobody counts fucking Adonis Stevenson. Can't make a trilogy out of that because it's only two people. But Joshua is the king of the heavyweights at a time where you got the old and the new all fighting for the crown. You mean to tell me you got Klitschko and Briggs the same era? Parker, I hate to say it, buddy, but whoa, you gonna have to watch your back. You know, but you got Wilder and Joshua, and Wilder's in the U.S. and everybody likes Wilder, but he ain't got the star power of Anthony Joshua. And when they make a fight, that's gonna be the shit.
You know what's funny? As I said, I didn't have them on my list, and I look back down my list, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did have those. My honorable mention list: Lomachenko, Errol Spence, Kell Brook, and Terrence Crawford. I had those on my list. Kell Brook, why? Because the Golovkin thing put him on a level where people are like tougher than I thought. I thought he might be the best welterweight, but like he might be able to be one of the best junior middleweights, you know. And now he's probably going to have a huge fight with Amir Khan if they can get it going. Damn. They're always talking shit.
They're going to get it going.
But the Lomachenko thing was the same thing with me. Terrence Crawford, for obvious reason, he sells the tickets. And now he's going to jail. Man, did that.
Now when he comes out, see he got to get his rap star on.
Well, that's the thing. He's got to come out with an album while he's in jail. Go the Tupac route, be number one, have the number one album in jail.
You know what? Matter of fact, he need to holler at Adrian Broner. That's what Adrian did when he got out.
I'm just saying, you know, like it seems to be a pretty decent formula.
Mike Will on the beat.
Let's stop it there. We got 7 more categories to go through.
It's gonna get interesting, folks.
I got one quick one. Best boxing podcast of the year. Who's your vote?
Well, there's a lot of shows out there, but I don't give a. I'm not hating, but I like ours.
I like ours too. I think we're number 1.
Yeah.
I'll let everybody finish number 2 to us. I don't bother me none. That was just a little pat on the back to ourselves. Because nobody else is going to do it. So we're going to do it to ourselves.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas. Because, we are recording this
right.
the day before Hopkins and Joe Smith. But it's going to be coming out Christmas week.
Exactly.
Oh, the week after Christmas, huh? Yeah, the week after Christmas. So, I hope you guys' Christmas.
Happy New Year's.
I hope you guys' Christmas was good.
No, I'm sorry. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah, it is. And I hope you guys have a great New Year. Safe New Year, because
we ain't gonna get into that.
You guys act stupid. We ain't
gonna get into that.
Some of us ain't gonna make it to the second part of this the show, the award show.
And I might be sitting next to Terrence Crawford after a party December 31st.
Remember Chris Rock said that alcohol kills everybody. Kill some of y'all. I mean, boy,
some of y'all ain't gonna make it home tonight.
That Chris Rock show is fun. Nah, man, we wish nothing but the best for everybody, man. We really appreciate everybody throughout the year. I mean, honestly, this has probably been our best year because I think we would have pumped out, I want to say 60 shows this year. Because we did a lot of double up shows where you do one and then I do one. Special shows. It's been a fun year, man.
Also, it's gonna be a double-edged sword. I give a shout out to all the boxers who fought this year. Without y'all fighting, we wouldn't have a show.
That's actually true because I always say without the listeners, I'm like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but actually if there was 2 people listening, we'd still be having a show. But
You know. But, and also, shout out to the people who listen because
Absolutely.
we all know this is a shitty year in boxing. So we were just as much as like, God damn, we gotta do a show on this shit.
do you remember how hard it was in September and October to do shows?
Oh.
I mean, we were literally trying to find any topic that would stick. It was a tough.
We needed the days when boxers would go get high and wind up in porn videos and say, that's not me. We needed some kind of help.
Gay porn videos at that?
Hey.
Oh, Lord.
I know. People gonna say that happened or that happened.
Oh, that happened. Thank you, everybody who's listened throughout the year. All shout out to the Boxing Podcast. All the ones who show us love, retweeting the show because we do the same. We like to spread it out. We appreciate everybody listening. Like JP said, happy holidays. Have a great new year. I hope your Christmas was great, even though it's still 8 days away for us. But but again, thank you, everybody. Follow the show on Twitter, Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate and review. Hey, how about a little Christmas gift, a little belated Christmas gift? You can rate and review the show, be the next unofficial sponsor. You can do that. You can email us, cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. If you're a new listener, let me know you're new to the show because we just love it because a lot of times it's kind of weird. If I know where you're from, it's like I sometimes I'll try to push angles towards like where they might be from.
Look,
and
saying that, look, if you're from LA, you got the Rams right now.
Oh.
You ain't doing shit. If you're in Chicago and you watching the Bears, you ain't doing shit.
oh.
If you're a Jets fan like myself, you ain't doing shit. Cleveland.
Oh, definitely. Well, at least they got that. At least they got the Cavs.
Whatever.
And the Indians went to the World Series, so they had that.
Oh,
It was
no,
actually-
no.
It was actually a pretty good year for Cleveland sports.
No, it wasn't.
I know
No,
they
it
lost the
wasn't.
Cubs, but they still made it.
It was a pretty good basketball year. Everything else went downhill.
No, they made it to the World Series. I'll give them that.
They blew it.
Yeah, they did blow it.
I know somebody from Cleveland like, fuck you, JP.
I'm not listening to this show ever again.
I'm a White Sox fan. You think I really want to see this shit? But,
Again, everybody, have a happy new year. We'll see you on the next episode to finish out all the topics, fighter year. And yes, it will be next week that we're actually recording it. We're not splitting in the same day. But everybody, man, have a great new year. And JP?
This is where the fighters fighting, the fans commentating. We'll be back at you.
And we do it just like you for the cheap seats because we ain't buying no tickets. Goddamn it, peace.
Heavyweight champion. Call me crazy, but no one can fake me. I'm the product of the projects. Lost and crazy. Throw your hands up, Mr. Bruno. Ride. Big Mike Tyson about to brutalize that ass tonight. No hesitation for the whole nation. I'll beat that ass so bad I probably violate probation. Through demonstration as I strategize information. Intent to kill, so it's